And we're off to the races. Gary's here with the lead horse in the race, going to run around the track and ultimately win the race. So I would not bet on any other horse but Gary's horse.
Okay.
So there you go, buddy. Horse number one.
Okay. Let everybody know that they can see my screen. Okay.
Give me a one. I see it. I'll need two or three people say yes, they can see it. Yep. Got it.
All right. This is where we're going to try to wrap up and put things together. The last couple of weeks, we've kind of went down some rabbit holes to strengthen what we put in these sites. So I'm going to drop this down for a second and go over to a site.
Let me ask you a question. Is anybody here that hasn't been here the last couple sessions, so you don't know what he went over? Anybody? Cool. Nobody's answering. Oh, Jose hasn't. Well, you'll have to get the replays and kind of check that out then.
They're in the gallery of the training room. So if you don't have a link to the training room, you hit me up or somebody that talks about the training room. So what I want to look at today is as we go through and see some of these properties, even images for that matter, the last few couple weeks, what we did is we learned how to backlink these properties that we have embedded into the PBN. Calendars, every one of these has a share link. Okay. So in your share link, we have the ability to use that share link, whether it's to an event, to a calendar, to a doc, to a note in a sheet, a comment in a sheet, Google Keep, all these things we can tie together and we could stack backlinks, backlinking every one of these properties that we've embedded on this site. Does that make sense? Everybody with me so far still? Let me look at the chat. Okay, everybody's yes. So I don't really have anybody that can. I have to pop that up and down. So
Gary, what we're
yes.
gonna do? If anybody has a question while you're talking about something, have them raise their hand so we can deal with it right away.
Yeah, please. Because when I have this screen up, unless I pop the chat up, I can't see the conversations.
Right, I'll handle it for you.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to go right to the software. And as we're backlinking our properties that are within the PBN, what are we doing? We're adding authority to those items that are already adding authority to our GSite. So we're starting to stack authority in ways that it has never been done in the past. Okay? So there's a basic principle that's always held true. If all else is equal, it's the one extra step that gets the juice, right? So for those guys or folks that are in the local niche and you're struggling in, say, the 3-pack or ranking the target site, and it doesn't seem to budge much, and you're real competitive, you now have the ability to compete with the ultra hard niches by doing something that they haven't even thought of doing. Okay? So that and what we're doing is what we're building the power behind our PBNs to give them authority, recognized authority. Again, let me ask the question. Who determines authority? Anybody want to take a guess at it? Google. Yes, Google. Google determines authority. And where are they going to give the highest priority? Their own properties, right? Google Keep, Google Sheets, Google Maps, Google Sites, Google Forms, all of that. And so when you're stacking their properties with their own properties, what do you think is going to go? What happened to the authority that they're going to reward you with? Right? When the bots crawl and they follow everything to its end result,
Yep.
you're going to have more authority than the next person. That's the key. In essence, that's the key to making this work. The master URL sheet ties it all together, but this stacking behind the scenes is what puts real power into what you're doing. Does that make sense to everybody? And if you missed the last 2 weeks, you really need to go back and visit. We can do a quick refresher if you'd like.
No.
How many people haven't seen it? Let's do that.
Well, I know there's at least 2 or 3. One.
Okay. In the gallery is two of them. Okay. And both of them are going down similar rabbit holes. In the first one, we did it elementary, and then we went into more detail on the second one. Okay. So in essence, what we've done, very similar to how calendars work. One property links to the next property, links to the next property, links to the next, until you get to the target. So we've stacked those in ways they haven't been stacked before. So we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to go right into our Google Sites first. And instead of creating a site, because everybody's seen this, we're going to load a site and use it. And let me see.
You make a few sites, bud?
Oh, now and then I don't save as many as I should.
So I guess you can see by the fact that Gary's made all these sites, he basically knows what he's talking about, right?
So I want you to look over and see that the images and forms and stuff is already over here. See that? Now, we want to take that embed code and move it to the bottom. Okay? Then we come up to our content, and we want to make sure our URLs are all there. Okay? If we come down to our main article, content's there, we're good to go. So, evidently, this one isn't. There's nothing there. See that? So, let's take our URL. That's kind of wild. Pick our content block. You'll often hear me repeat this. Page titles and content titles should match each other or close.
Scott's got a question. Can the software load sites that we made outside the software or manually?
I'm going to show that in the next section after we do this. But you'll like the answer.
Well, I guess the answer is not no, then, Scott.
Okay, notice it didn't load this stuff. So I'm going to go, let me see what account I'm in. Now, when you load this and you're loading, if it doesn't load something up, we need to do that. We need to go find it. So we're gonna do.
Probably not going to be an issue for most people because they don't have 575 different ways to do, make a pizza.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
probably have everything all on one channel, blah, blah, blah. It's very going to be easy to find. It's all in one place, not like 17 different ways that you do things,
Well,
which is fine. Great.
I'm always looking for something that's not been done or other people aren't doing it as a way to have an edge.
Mhm.
So sometimes the way I think is a little different.
Would there be anybody out there that agrees with Gary that he thinks differently? Oh, lots of whys coming in, buddy.
Yeah,
No good answer.
just call it 3D chess and we'll be happy.
So what are you looking at each of your drives to find it?
No, it's only gonna look in one drive, but there's a lot in that one drive. We're gonna have our keywords right here. I'm not gonna use anything out of that. I don't know why it pulled it. Still looking for calendar links. Um, so now realize this is the inner page. I'm not gonna use an RSS feed. I've already got one calendar in, so I don't really have to worry about what it's doing. So at this point, I'm going to use AI and I'm going to ask it to generate the content. Oh, give me a break.
You ran across this last time.
I did it to myself. I should let it run. My own fault. All right, guys, we're going to shut it down and reload it.
So this happened. What is it? Why did it happen? And if it happens to other people, what does it mean?
Well, it's the calendar has thrown an exception. The HTTP status is forbidden because the usage limit has been exceeded by this account. Nobody's going to come close to the amount of calendars that I have. So when I created one, I probably should have used another account, basically. So I'm having trouble even shutting it down. So bear with me while I'm running the task manager for a second. There we go. Okay. Set is over with, but let's see. Didn't shut down, did it? There it is. Just took a second. So I'll move this over a little bit. And drop it down so I can see. Okay. Now, guys, rather than run into the problem, I think you understand what you need to do when you load up a site. So I don't want to get real repetitive. I think most people here want to see the PBN builder.
Yep, that's why we're here.
Now, we're going to use the keyword. We're going to search. Now, realize up here, you'll see the number of sites based on that keyword that I have. Okay. So while it seems like it's slow, I don't think that anyone's going to have the number of sites on one keyword like this. It's actually pretty fast. There's probably, I don't know, 400 or 500 in that niche on this particular account.
Does it matter if you didn't include the city name?
I didn't include the city name. It'll
Right.
pull it, it'll pull the site based on the keywords, no matter what.
Does that answer your question, Fitz?
You're better off not having the local on it because that's what you're going to change.
When looking with the Google Drive search button, does the search look for Google properties that have certain properties like published or shareable publicly, or just any Google property in that drive?
No, it's going to only look for GSites that are published. In other words, it's going to go to sites.google into the account that you're using. There's 405 of them in the niche. So we'll just pick one. And what we're going to do is we're going to give it a local name.
So while you're doing that, when adding assets, can you add them later as you get around to it? And if
I
so,
do.
what assets should add first, or does it matter?
Maps
Maps first?
first.
Is there any other particular order?
No, you want to at least have that local map on there. If you do have a map already on the site you're cloning, you definitely want to edit to the local that you have. For example, we're going to do Live Oak, Florida. We'll add it. It'll probably have a Hayward, California map on it, which will never relate to this. And you're going to want to edit these with content that's not related to Hayward, California. So you want to change your content around too. But there's a reason to do this. So we'll go.
So scholar after maps, but before. I mean, after maps, you could put them in any order you want, right?
Yeah, there's no preference there.
You have to do this manually.
What?
What you're doing, Gainesville, Florida, every one of
Yeah,
those.
there's a possibility at some point we can upload a
See, it
sheet
should just
or
be a sheet.
just be a sheet and do all this for you.
Better be. I'm not gonna sit there and do 300 of them.
Well, I tend to look at doing 25 at a time or something.
It'd be easy for him to add a sheet.
Yeah, I think so too. Uh, I mean, it really isn't too time consuming. Particularly, I'm basically just going off the top of my head, you know.
Well, it should be enough for the point of illustration, right?
Right. Okay. We now have a bunch up here. Realize they're going to clone them exactly as they are. So what's going to happen is you'll have to manually go in sites.google, make your changes, change your content around, or put new content using AI. Probably the easiest, fastest way. You can still leave the videos, it won't be a problem. So at that point, we can save this. Name it. Um, whatever works best for you, that you'll remember the file. So all we got to do now is click run. You can see down here starting a copy of it.
Yeah, dentists do pay well. They get paid a lot of money. So
Oh, yeah.
when you're running this, why do you have to change the content?
Well, you'll have duplicate content if you don't.
I have duplicate content everywhere. It doesn't matter.
Well,
You only have to change the city and
you're
and the
changing the
territory
city. You're changing
and
the
the links.
city. I do it out of habit because it's the way I think. So I want the uniqueness of it.
So you like to change the content related to the city that's on
Yes, you
the
can
page
have
you're creating, right?
when you go to it. Let's take an example. Monodental implants, Live Oak, Florida. So by using Live Oak as my part of my keyword that I'm creating the content, it's going to pull Live Oak into the content it's writing.
Right.
All search is local, right? Remember that. So if you're in Live Oak and you search for monodental implants or dental implants or dentist near me or whatever keywords that we can get ranked for, it's going to pull our site. In theory, that's why we changed the content.
Right.
Okay, we're going to end the task right there. Let me go to the questions real quick.
There aren't any. I answered them.
Oh, okay, all right. And that's how the GPN builder works. I haven't used the keyword tool here because I prefer my AI. But it's probably going to do the same thing it does in the AI. Other than we can use Google Trends, YouTube, or Google itself for the keywords here.
Try Google Trends. I want to see what happens.
You want trends?
Mm-hmm. See which ones it pulls.
Uh,
You got to enter a basic keyword, right?
yeah.
We'll see if it brings the breakout.
How deep you want me to search?
Or 25.
I want to go 3 deep.
Well, I guess that's all we're going to go then.
But I'm thinking this is talking about pages when that number comes up.
It says finish searching. What do you got?
I don't know. I got anything.
Right?
Now, and part of that may be because most people don't even know, even dentists don't even know a lot
Just
of
type in
time.
dental, change it to dental implants. That's at least a searchable term.
That's a searchable term. Mono may never pull up for a few years over there.
No, that's interesting. Now hit United States because that's all we're interested in, right?
Huh.
That's what I figured. It's spot on. The data is not really there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why.
Well, South Korea though, they're all over the
Yeah,
place.
that's really not surprising there.
Well, no, but we did check for the United States, so
Yeah, yeah. All right.
cool.
See, for me, for my purpose, I use AI Factory for my keyword tools. All right, we're gonna drop this down. And we're gonna give you a sneak preview of what's to come for next week. How many people in here have ever used, or how many, let's rephrase that, how many people do local? Perfect, we got quite a few that do local. So next week, next few weeks is really gonna fit in. And it may, I'm hoping it'd be an eye opener for some. How many people have ever used what's called a white paper to try and chase clients?
No, no,
How
no.
many people know what a white paper is?
Yeah, don't know.
All right. Traditionally, and Patrick can bear this out. When I first made my first attempt at local marketing, I used a unique system that used basically, I'm trying to think of the name of hosting company I used, but every email that they had allowed you to send 500 emails a day from each account, and you could set up unlimited accounts. Well, the only problem with that is sooner or later, you're going to get the spam reports going out and they're going to ghost you. So you'll be mailing like crazy and nothing happens. But it'll work good, fine for maybe 5 or 6 weeks before that happens. And you can send thousands of emails, cold emails to marketers or to local companies, maybe by niche, say roofer. This week could be roofers, next week could be dentists, third week could be doctors, whatever you'd like to do, plumbers. And the way it was done is your email would have what was called a white paper. And I'm going to show you an example of a white paper here in just a minute. It's normally done as a PDF. So when you get a mail that's unexpected and it's got a PDF, how easy or quick or slow would you be to respond and open that PDF? Now, I want you to think like you're a local business.
I wouldn't.
Okay. So here's the problem with doing that. You'll get 1 to 2 responses a week, mailing tens of thousands of businesses. And so you're reliant on the few that do open it. And of the ones that open it, you're going to get about maybe 10% of that that'll actually pick up the phone and call you, right?
Yep.
So how do we get around that? And that's where we're headed over the next 2 weeks, is how to get that white paper read and the phone to ring. So I'm going to pull up a case study by our very own Randy. And we're going to show you what a white paper should look like when it's done right. Can everybody still see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me pull this all the way up. And this case study will expose the truth about ranking a GMB. Now, so this is the original case study that he did with his son and so on. And so he never touched their GMB, left it the way it was set up, never touched the website. And when he started, they're getting 43 calls a month from their advertising. Okay. In 21 days, the practice was ranking in the Google 3-pack. Okay. Do you think we might have somebody's attention that gets this white paper? Would you keep reading from this point on as a business person? Come on, guys. This is a class. It's interactive.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Everybody says yes.
Okay. So after 3 months after they started, 192 calls, 114 calls, they stopped the advertising. 130 calls after 3 months. Number 1. Dentist near me. Number 1. Two places.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. Okay. You think if you have 2 out of 3 and somebody Google's dentist, dentist near me, and they see you got 2 different places, who's going to get the call, guys?
Well, he's actually got 2 offices. They're not 2.
No, I realize,
Right. But I want to make sure everybody does realize that there are 2 offices, right? They're not 2 listings of the same office.
Correct. But the very fact you have 2 magnifies your chances of one of your 2 offices getting that call. and not this one. Okay. And even if you look at the star rating, I mean, they dominate. So guess who's getting 90% of the calls, even though this one's in the 3-pack?
They ain't getting any.
He ain't getting them. Okay. So do you think we might have somebody's attention here, right? So as we go on down, we want to get our message. And here's our first closing thing, right? 3-pack for 29 keywords. Today that's 42. I actually should edit that. I haven't yet, but it's 42 keywords now. Now, here's our close, guys. Randy says, I'm only one of 326 consultants in the entire world that have access to software that can achieve these results. Army of 54 people to do what I can do with our software. He says, let's schedule a 20-minute phone call to explore our working together. If you'd like to call, go right here. Here's my phone number if you just want to call me, I guess. So, do you think this white paper has a possibility of causing a reaction or an action if they make it to the end? These are the very same people that won't open that PDF that you mailed to them cold. Now, we're going to show you how to take this white paper and post it in social sites where it looks like a page. Would that be fun to do, guys? How about LinkedIn or Facebook? If you're in Facebook, how many dental groups, plumber groups, roofers, organizations like that have groups that you could join and post your page? Everybody see where this is heading in the next couple of weeks?
Everybody should be a member of Alignable. It's another one where you can go. It's very, very active community.
Exactly. Alignable is a very good one. They have a paid and free version. If you're marketing seriously to do local, you really should have a paid account to Alignable.
$30 a month, big deal. You can create ads and they're sponsored ads for your local area for $30 a month, I think.
So, any questions up to this point? Doesn't matter if it's GSites or it's where we're headed.
I spelled it wrong. Ignore it. It's Alignable. You can do it.
Do we physically like? All right, guys, let me show you two things. And we're really getting ahead of ourselves. But let's see. What we have here, folks. A doc, right? And a doc has what? A share link. So if I were to use this,
Mhm.
right, we'll take it off restricted, anyone with a link, copy the link, hit done. Let's go to Facebook and do it there. Dude, learn how to spell. It's my
That'll never
keyboard.
happen. Yeah,
It's my keyboard.
listen, I bought you 5 keyboards already, and they all spell the same way, terribly.
Oh,
We haven't found the right keyboard yet, Gary.
yeah.
It's out there though. Yeah, Diane put the right link up there for you guys. This is another good community that I belong to.
So I don't know how I did that. Oh, there we go. There we go. Can everybody see this?
Yeah, that's interesting. What'd you just do? In Facebook?
Yeah.
Where you can't have any links?
Yeah. Now, let's go a step farther.
Valerie says, "What did you do?" In other words, do it again.
We're gonna do it even a little better yet. But see, now with you click on that, if you saw that in Facebook and you see that message, what's your odds of getting this click versus a PDF?
About 100 to 1.
You see it, you see there might be a little better way.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Now, let's go a step farther.
You any sleep the last 3 days? You've just been thinking about this.
I've been thinking about this for a little while. Um, I hadn't had a chance to really play with it. I just haven't had time. So today, when my 12 o'clock canceled, I decided to throw this together at the last because I already knew what direction I was going to do for next week. So we're really kind of cheating into next week a little bit. But let's go back to Facebook. And we'll say,
So what are you sharing in there? Content or you can't, it's not a PDF.
no, it's a link.
Oh, so you put the link in there and then it pulls the data up.
Yes, yes. But notice the difference. Now,
Oh.
notice the difference between the two. Right here's a link. See it? And
Yep.
over here, it pulls the data on the top of the dock. So they actually see the top of your dock the same way they would see a sales page.
Yeah, we have to turn this off right now. We can't share this with everybody.
Yeah, I'm about done.
I'm putting a dollar sign in the box now. Anybody wants to see version 2.
All right, guys, what do you think about this? Give me some comments.
Yeah, I'm
Do
pretty
you see the potential of what we're about to share?
wow. Sometimes you do amaze me. Most of the time you amaze me, but wow, this is one I haven't seen yet. And you didn't tell me about it, so I'm actually mad at you.
Yeah, well, you remember this, what I'm doing is stealing something from my affiliate course and changing its purpose the same way we would do an affiliate product.
So the case study will expose truth about the blah 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 blah. So comments. So you only get to see that little top of the snippet. You don't get to see the whole thing, right?
That's correct, but they'll click on it. See, if you drop below in the bar below and click it, it'll take you right to the dock. Now, guys, what happens? I want you to think about this. Usually, you got one shot at somebody with a sales page, right? But what happens if they click on your dock? Anybody know what happens to the dock? Come on,
Nobody's
guys.
goes to
He
your
goes in their
drive.
drive. Yes.
Goes to their drive.
Goes to their drive. So when they go to their drive, they see this 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever number of times they go to their drive. So they get to see it more than once. So the reminder is there.
Also adds more authority to that doc, according to Valerie.
Yes. Well, realize that we now have this not we don't have the doc embedded, but we should. We can actually embed it on this site that we created over here. We could take and make another page or embed it down here a second time. Okay, any questions to this point? Because
So you would be targeting dental Facebook pages with this, right?
that would be the preference.
You're not going to do it to a plumber.
No, but the message is the same. Even though this is targeted to a dentist, this would work even in other groups because why? The message is more about the 3-pack and what was done in the case study for a dentist. But it would still work for plumbers, electricians, chiropractor, whoever. It won't matter. The point is the procedure is the same of doing it. A white paper is a white paper. It says I did this, this, and this. Okay. In fact, I don't know if I have another white paper on this particular computer or not. It might be on one of the other ones.
You know, the other thing that you can do with it and then link it as well. I know it's off the Google spectrum, but you could take and put this in Substack and link it, you know, your Google link to Substack. You can link it to Medium. You know, all of the very popular, very high DA article sites out there. There's about 9 of them that are really, really powerful. And then, you know, create your own link wheel from them as well back to your main GMB or wherever you want it to go, your main site, and create a secondary PBN out of those and link your Google PBNs to them and kind of be very creative with that. Does that make sense to everybody? You all know what those authority bloggers are, right? Medium, Substack, and you can even put this on Reddit, Quora, you know, type, you know, situations as well. So there's a lot of other places where you could put this, but you know, being in a Facebook group is pretty damn.
Hey, somebody asked a question concerning will this work for a PDF using this strategy? Well, we started with a PDF. And remember, if you put a PDF in Facebook, what's going to happen?
They won't show it.
They'll make you upload the PDF and they have to download it,
Right.
Which is a 2-step process that most people won't do. People tend to be traditionally lazy. Maybe that's the right way to put it. I mean, it's kind of insulting, but it's the truth of it. So if it takes 2 steps, extra steps, how many people are going to do it?
Can anyone recommend some good training for Reddit? I find the site a bit different to other social sites. Yeah,
I like Reddit. I don't know of any trade there. I'm sure there is. I like Reddit because Reddit ranks very good, a lot better than people think. But I've gotten away from it simply because of lack of time.
I would search YouTube for Reddit training.
You look, if it's to be found, YouTube is the tutorial capital of the world.
We do have a Reddit training, but it's not on that. We have how to find Reddit threads that are kind of been abandoned and try to pick them up and repurpose them too. I may have to revisit that.
All right, did anybody get anything out of today at all?
Yeah, Valerie says, I enjoyed using Canva for creating slides, and you can download all the slides as a PDF, blah, blah, blah. So
So guys, you got a taste of what's coming as far as some new methods to go chase people or to get the phone call. So we're going to focus a little more on that next week, how to handle the call. And
Well,
the PBN builder is just been released
this weekend.
this weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about doing this next few weeks, especially on local, because I think we've needed to do it for a long time. Too many people struggle with it, and it shouldn't be a struggle. Oh,
Valerie, it's a completely separate product, but it's built within GSites. You have to have GSites V2 in order to get the PBN builder. Because the continuity works between the two the two properties, so they're built off of each other, but you just can't go buy the PBN builder without having GSite 2.
Fitz, the purpose of the PBN builder is to create massive numbers of sites very quickly.
Well, look, okay, let me ask this question. How many of you guys do not know what a PBN actually is? Just give me, no, I don't know. And I'll answer this question right away. So does anybody not know what a PBN is? Private Blog Network. This is what PBN stands for, right? All right. But Gary, I don't know if we have a link ready for everybody at the moment or not, but
I don't.
because we really haven't released it. We had a special thing that went on this weekend that we were part of, and we released it in there as a test. So this will be coming out to all of us within, I would say, probably the next 10 days. We'll have it all refined and ready to go. But, you know, a PBN builder is like any of the old type of PBNs that you think of. You buy hundreds of domains, thousands of domains, you put crappy content on there, but they're all linking back to this, to one particular place, private blog network, PBN, right? And so the reality of it is you have no control. They all end up with spam scores up in the 50s to 60s and 70s eventually. The power of the PBN loses its power. You have to always continue to buy hundreds and hundreds of domain names and, you know, change content all the time. Okay. And that is just a terrible way to go and spend your money because you have no control. So what we've done is we've taken that idea and concept, which is very powerful, of linking juice in a PBN from tier 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to your site. All right. And build that together, but build it as a Google site PBN. And therefore you don't have spam. You have control. If anything ever goes south, you can just turn the power off by turning the switch off from public to private. So you maintain complete control over that entity. Completely different than, like, you know, some of the other PBNs that you might be aware that are out there. Okay. There's a lot of them out there. So that's why we built this. But it's very, very powerful to the extent that you're always passing link juice from GSite to GSite to GSite to GSite to GSite to GSite to your main site. Does that make sense? Right? Everything goes back. there's only the PBN builder that you're building, there's only one site, one link that goes back to your money site, and that's the last in the chain of the PBNs. They link
Hey,
to each other, but there's only one fire hose at the end. And that
I gotta
goes to
take a
your,
I gotta
go
take
ahead.
a picture of this for
What picture?
Randy.
What picture? Oh, take a picture.
Ah, I'm gonna take a picture.
Okay, does everybody understand that? Link back to the money site, Sheldon. One link. You got 100 G sites linking to each other, but the last G site is the only G site that's linking to your money site. Does that make sense? One link that rules them all. Correct, right? But think of it this way. How many of you guys, I know this is going to sound ridiculous. Ladies, you may not understand this, but how many of you have a garden hose? Everybody tell me if you have a garden hose or know what a garden hose is. Right? Everybody answer. Okay. Now. Yep. Okay. How many of you guys have a pressure washer? One, two, no. Okay. But how many of you know what a pressure washer is? Sally, he's a smart man. Okay. Everybody knows what a pressure washer is, right? So think of it this way in your mind from a visual. Your garden hose, when you turn the faucet on, what comes out the other end? Water. But can you put your hand in front of that water and not hurt yourself? Sure, you can wash your hands with your garden hose, right? Now, if you hook up a pressure washer to your garden hose and then you turn that pressure washer on, do you want to put your hand in front of that pressure washer? Yes or no? No. Why? Because you'll end up with a hole in your hand, right? So think of that in terms of the PBN and think of that in terms of the GSite PBN. Okay. At the end of that hose connected to the pressure washer is a cannon, and that cannon is shooting cannon shots of power into your website. Your one link out to your site, to your GMB, to your YouTube video, to your Reddit post, to your Medium post, whatever it happens to be. Does that clear the picture up of why we want to do this? You've got all that power going, and you can build these PBNs as much as you want, and you can build all the G sites as much as you want. But when you tie them together, you have that cannon pressure washer sending that power to wherever it is you want to send it to. A YouTube video, your main site, your G site, a sub page on your main site. Does that make sense to everybody? V2 does not do that. It connects your G sites, okay, and your interfaces. It's a single G site. You may have 3 or 4 or 5 pages on it, like a regular website, okay, but it's not a PBN.
All right, watch this, guys. Want to know what makes hundreds of G sites into a PBN? Anybody understand what makes
You're
the G
stacking them.
sites into a PBN?
It's a single link from one to the next. So if you create, let me go up to while you're doing that. Let me ask this question. So for Daniel, so if you create 25 location G sites from the main keyword, those 25 location G sites are not going to link to every location page of the money site, correct? Now, if you create a PBN, G sites, each of those PBN can link out to the location page on your main G site of those 25 location, either G sites or location pages on your G site. And then that page shoots out to your location page on your main site or your GPB or your money site or your YouTube video or whatever it is you want that power to go to. This is killer for affiliate marketing too, by the way.
Can Patrick, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. Guys, this is the magic that turns it into a PBN, because this is embedded on every single site. So by embedding on it, they're linked to each other in the octopus method. not a 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, but every site is interconnected to each other. So when you add a site, and it'll take forever to get down there, but when you add a site, it pops up on all of those sites because it updates automatically within minutes, if not sooner, on every site that you have. So if I added this line, a brand new site, like we did, like I just built, let's see, we go grab, well, let's go. So if I add this site per se right here, come over, add it to this line, it'll now update on every single other site in the PBN within minutes. All from my drive. How long do you think it would take me to manually link all those sites? Even if I did the 1 to 3, 4 to 5 to 6. It'd take forever.
Hour. Yep. Sally's got it. She wins.
So anytime you can control everything from your drive that we do, it only takes minutes. Okay. The same way we did the try back links. If we look at how I did it with 3 different properties on the PBN, we got to go towards the top. But here's my 100, 200. Let's say I had a 200 sale on this. 200 sites have a slider, calendar, and dock all named calendar 200, slider 200, dock 200. So I could go with those 3 things in my drive, add something to it, and it'll almost instantly update on all 200 sites. Boom, just like that.
Correct.
Okay. So the secret to this is controlling everything from your drive. And it only takes a short time to do it.
Right. So can you see the question from Fitch? You want me to read it?
If you add the sites to the master URL that links all the G sites without manually link them, no, the embed fits. The master URL sheet is embedded on each site. So if I change it here, it changes on the sites. They're not going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're going to go 1 to 99. Let's say you have 100 sites. 1 would be linked to 99, but 2 would be linked to 99 and 99 others. And 100 would be linked to the other 99. So you have a spider web effect of linking. Does that make sense? Did we lose anybody there?
I'm sure it's probably a little confusing, simply because we're not really just showing graphics, just ideas and concepts for everybody. But I think if you can boil it down to just a couple things is 1, you're using a G site. 2, you're using another G site to link to your first G site. And then in a PBN, you're using 100 G sites linking to each other to link to your last site as example, or it could be 50, or it could be 25, right? So it's just a linear equation, 99 to 98 to 98 to 97, 97, all the way down to 1. Is that a little bit clearer? Is that a little bit clearer for everybody? And along that way, we're just keep passing juice and juice and juice and content and content and content. Inside those G sites, for example, Pennsylvania, those sites aren't all linked to your money site. They are all linking to each other on the GSite itself, plus on the master URL sheet.
Well, that may or may not be true, because each of them on the site itself links to a target. So let me kind of show you that. So if I go here, notice there's a link here. So if they click my header, it's going to take them someplace. If they click for information, it'll take them someplace. If they click on my footer, it's going to go to a link.
Yeah.
Those are going to a target link. So let's go take a look at it and see where it takes us. This is how all your sites should be set up. You should have a header link, an announcement bar link, and a footer link, as well as a phone number if you're using that. Okay. So when I click this, it sends me to Mono Implant Academy blog.
So that's a direct link from there to here from the source of the site that's giving that power to the blog. Does that make sense to everybody? Standard linking processes with power. So I understand it's kind of like a ball of string wrapped up for a cat to play with for some, right? But once you unravel that string, it's a straight line from one end to the next. So how does the power of the updated master URL sheet compare to the RSS feeds and calendars we put on all G sites?
All right, let me touch on that real quick. The master URL sheet is only purpose, and it does give you authority based on the same principles. It has a high DAPA that goes with it. But the RSS feed and calendars do what? What do they do, guys? What changes from today to tomorrow with those two items? New content, constant perfect relevance, constant updates, and new content on a regular basis.
Completely different, right?
The sheets do not do that. The sheets are only a linking mechanism to link all your sites together. Okay, so they have a little bit, they're different purposes for each of them, but we're going to stack all that relevance onto our pages, and we're gonna inherit the authority that goes with those properties, including something very few people are aware of that's probably most important. One of those things is age of site. The age of site depends on the day that Google created that platform for our use. That's kind of hidden in the code, and very few people are aware that it exists. Patrick, you got a message directly from John D.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. No, it doesn't bleed out. It multiplies across the platform. So realize, guys, and this is to Fitz particularly, when we created this, and Patrick will tell you that how this unfolded. When we hit about 1,000 sites, between 900 and 1,000, I'm guessing, when we reached this point. And we knew, because we checked on individual sites, a bunch of them were ranking. But honestly, we had no clue how many were ranking. We just knew some of them were that we had checked right after we built them. That's when Anan went and checked to see what we had. And that's when you see those images come up. It's 477 page one, number one properties. Well, Anan checked, and that's what we ended up with. There was like 790 that were page one, 570 were in the top three. Those are astronomical numbers that are beyond belief. And I'm going to tell you that I'll have to tell you that Patrick and I were just as stunned as anybody else when we had those kind of numbers.
I had to make him double check them because I didn't believe it.
See, we really did something that had never been accomplished with a PBN before. No spam score, so I don't have to worry about what we put on there. It's never going to get hit unless they change something. And I can't imagine Google's going to change their spam score policy on their own properties. I can't envision that.
So, hey, Gary, question. Do you have handy your YouTube link that we did 7 years ago?
Yes,
Image?
I do.
That might kind of explain a little bit of what happens when we're doing this with a Google property as well. You can pop that up. That'll not amaze everybody, but it'll show the essence of the sperm and the egg, so to speak, how this creation came together. Is when we did a test. This is like 6-7 years ago for a particular client. If Gary can find it,
I can find it.
It'll clear things up pretty good. So while he's looking for there, just remember, so far we have not ever been able to break Google against the rules it creates for everybody else. Give me a 5 if that makes sense. Now look at that screen, everybody.
I'm gonna have to make it bigger in order for everybody to see it.
You can see it. So what did we do? Right? Everybody agrees. 5. Google does not play by its own rules so far that we have found. And Carolyn, she might even be here today, how many of you have ever asked yourself, well, I don't see where Google's, is indexed. I don't know that Google's really crawled. And we've been telling you for years, Google doesn't play by the same rules. Is it indexed? Obviously, because you see GSites. Is it crawled? Obviously, because you see the content of those GSite. Can you prove it? Nobody has ever proved it before that I know of. But give me a 7 in the chat if you think we have proved that. Right? Yes. And do you know who proved it for us? Miss Carolyn. Because that's what she does. She digs and digs and digs and digs to find out what nobody else knows. And 2 weeks ago, we did a webinar where she proved that Google not only crawls their sites, but they also index their sites. And they're automatically, instantaneously findable when you create it and hit the push button to say yes. You can find it already on the internet. John D, she did a great webinar. Thank you, John. She works really hard. So somebody that, for $18 a month, you guys should, really think about participating in her group, because she comes up with stuff that will help you with your sites, how to rank your sites, how to clean up the shit that's on your sites, and so forth. CEO and CRO, right? So anyway, how many pages did we rank of YouTube videos here, Gary? 4, 5?
We pushed everybody back 4 pages for the most part. 36 out of the top 40.
Yeah, 36 out of the top 40. So there was no content on any of the first 4 pages, only our videos. So as cool as that sounds, it's pretty stupid if you
Well,
think
there's a
about it.
couple bumped in there that's
No.
not ours, but they had to be well established
Right.
to hold their own.
James, just find Carolyn and then when any other groups and go ahead and hit her up for her program. Okay. But you see how we proved at the very beginning that Google loves itself and doesn't penalize itself because it had all of its own videos on the same page. So that's the essence of the beginning of what Gary and I came up with at the very, start of this whole process. We actually sold that course on Warrior Forum. And what did we do? $67,000 worth of sales for that course at that time, which is retarded.
Well,
47, something like that.
it was closer to 80, but
Who's
you know,
counting?
but it was so strong that it held it in the top 5 for almost a month. And we were
Okay.
product of the day, product of the week. And if they had a product for the
I'm
month, we
doing
would
okay. How
have
you
it.
doing? I'm on a webinar right now, so kind of hard to talk. No. Yeah, I'll be done in about 30 minutes. All right. So anyway, sorry guys.
Oh,
Um,
good.
Carolyn, are you still online? I saw you on earlier. I don't know if you're still here. If you are, you can put your link in the chat or somebody. All right. So good stuff, right? Good stuff today.
Yeah, I think we gave everybody a good sneak preview of what's coming.
Okay. So do for those of you that are still curious, do that chat GPT prompt that I put in the chat earlier. Just very simply say, what is a PBN, private blog network, like SEO autopilot or the bunch of them that are out there. And first off, say what is a PBN? And then say thank you. And then from your answer above, why do people use PBNs? And from your answer above, say, why are PBMs detrimental to ranking based on spam score? And just keep asking the questions and you'll kind of really get a complete feel of the power of a PBN and how detrimental it also can be to your site. You could tank your site with a PBN like in no time, right?
And the average cost to build one
Is retarded.
17 grand is the average doing it the traditional way. Which doesn't even talk about the hosting or maintenance of keeping it up.
Right. Exactly. It depending upon the size of the PBN, it's 10 to 15 to 17,000 bucks to build one. And here for only a mere $5,000 a month, you can do it here. I'm kidding. All right. You guys, any other last questions? Great job, Gary. Thank you.
Oh man, I had a good time.
GSites makes sites and PBN Builder copies the sites and creates PBNs. Yeah, you got it. You got it, Fitz.
Go ahead,
Question.
Josh.
What's your question, John? Can you? I don't know. I thought you could raise your hand. I don't see anybody raising their hand.
Um, you're cloning the same content,
Oh.
so you have to edit a little bit.
Okay.
American English.
Let's see, Fitz. You allow Fitz and Sheldon to talk. Can either one of you talk? I created allow. Ask to unmute.
How about John D as well? I think I understand what he needs.
Okay, both of them have their, can talk.
I think, John, that you're looking for European English. Or are you looking for American? The way to control it is with your AI. Be specific in your prompt. Oh, blocking the install. That's, I'm gonna have to get with it. We're gonna have to get with Chris on that, John. Can you make a video of this for me and get it to me in PM? And we'll get you, we'll get you corrected in the way that Chris can code it for you.
Okay, anybody that's trying to reach me, just call me on the phone, my phone afterwards, okay? So there's two, okay, there's two that have their hands raised. Now, how do I ask them to talk?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, I'll just do that. Sheldon, can you talk?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your question? I figured it out.
Oh, no, I don't have no question. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate what Gary has done, and I think I'm learning a lot from him today's webinar.
Awesome. Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
And I
Very
did-
much appreciated.
I just what I wanted to.
All righty. All right. Cool. Thank you. All right. Fitz, go ahead.
Oh, goodness. I got some noise in the background.
Chris, let's see. I got you promoted to panelist. You can talk. Unmute yourself. Okay.
Oh, he can't talk right now. He's got noise.
Oh, okay. Cool. Very cool.
You can type your question in if you can't talk, Fitz.
All right. Anything else? Anybody else? One thing's for sure. You never know what the hell you're going to get whenever you sign on to one of these things.
That's for sure.
Absolutely. So,
Hey, it's always fun digging through rabbit holes you haven't seen before. So for those of you who hadn't thought about trying a new way for a white paper,
that's amazing. That's a nugget right there. I didn't even know about that one. I agree with Fitz on that. It kind of blew my mind. as
it'll
well,
open
so.
some doors for you that you weren't able to get to because they wouldn't open your white paper or your email. But in a social environment, if they see it, you may entice them enough to click. It's easier to get a click than to open on a PDF and an email.
That kind of like go along the lines, you can't unsee what you've seen, whether you want to see it or not. Some things I wish I've never seen, but you see them, so it's just the way it is. Is it similar to quantum jumping?
I've never quantum jumped, so I can't really qualify that.
but it sounds like it might be. sure. All
So-
right. Any last questions? Everybody glad they came today? Give Gary a high five.
I don't know how many weeks
There
we'll
we go.
run on local, but we're gonna focus on to help some of you gain new clients and learn how and perfect your closing skills. And we're gonna deal with what happens when you lose a client. We kind of covered that a little bit before,
Right.
but we'll reintroduce the what you do in the next few weeks.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. We got to hop
It's
on
been
another call.
fun. It's been fun. I enjoyed it, guys. Looking forward to next Friday.